Delphine therapy is a 3-week intensive course of therapy to combat stuttering, devised by the speech therapist Sabine Schütz, and then further developed together with her daughter, Sonja Schütz, an academic speech therapist. This therapy is one of its kind across the globe and has also been scientifically proven. Delphine, an acronym meaning dolphin in German, stands for the various elements involved in the therapy.
Which was a very powerful piece. It was amazing to watch because of the progress that the patients made over the time during their therapy, and seeing the before-after dynamics of how difficult it was for them to speak compared to how powerful the therapy ended up working for them in a very short amount of time. I believe it was only a few weeks, 3 weeks about, with the doctors. I thought it was amazing to watch because these kind of people don't necessarily get a lot of sympathy. People with social anxiety, people with speaking issues. Sometimes people think it's a mental thing and that it's not doesn't have any sort of physiological dynamics. But there were a lot of very interesting examinations in the piece that showed sort of the vocal cord differences between someone that has this issue and normal people, and the sort of energy and the focus that it takes for a person who has this issue to talk to people, to communicate, to express themselves. And I thought that the piece had a lot of compassion for these people, while also being very educational, both in the therapy sense and on a human scale, in terms of how you should think about this and how it's important to help people express themselves in all types of ways. So I thought the goal of freedom and expressing yourself was a big theme throughout the piece, and it really ended up working well and had a lot of different meetings depending on how you wanted to take it.
Beautiful documentary about, the hardships of these children with speech impediments and issues with stuttering, and the group of speech pathologists in Germany who are helping out their patients not only overcome their different impediments, but seeing their confidence grow as a result, and to live, speaking to live. I think it was a really beautiful look at something that affects more people than we often realize. And it was shot in a really compelling and compassionate way, highlighting the different hardships that these individuals go through with confidence and being able to effectively communicate with others. And then on the flip side, seeing them excel and have their confidence back and being able to live this free life, and not only speaking one languages, some of these patients being able to speak multiple languages freely and happily, and how that affects their outlook on life and how they live. And it's really beautiful to watch. It's a super compelling topic, and it was done really, really well.
This doc short was so inspiring, it brought me to tears at times. It addresses how many young people once stuttered but now have been cured after 3-week Delphine therapy in Germany, run by 2 speech therapists, a mother-daughter team. I was fascinated to see the before videos of the clients having real difficulty speaking, and the after videos as they speak very smoothly, one even in 4 different languages. I appreciated the interviews by the doctors and therapists as they touched on how traumatic it was for clients not to be able to communicate their true selves and thoughts, how exhausted they were, but after this therapy are able to socialize better and find successful careers. I was amazed by the videos of the tense vocal cords of someone who stuttered versus the relaxed vocal cords of someone who speaks without a stutter. I liked the gorgeous classical music under the action, and the 2 narrators/translators had such warm, kind voices for this project. Sweet world balloon release image at the end. True freedom was the aim of this film.
It's interesting to see in this film, people we're actually talking to these folks that had to deal with it, and we're learning about their backgrounds and how it affected them in their lives, and they talk about how you cross over into adulthood and things become worse. And it was interesting to see these folks starting off, where they started and where they ended up, with their speech. It was wonderful in the beginning of the film to see that guy read from the Bible in church. That was just really very, very nice to see him. He's stuttering free, being able to read from the Bible at church. It was a very moving moment. It was interesting how the therapist said at one point, we're going to we're going to give them a new way of speech in their brain, so that the old way, there's no space for the old way anymore. That sounds like a really good way of thinking, and seeing the results from these folks here, it seems to apparently have been extremely effective.
I had never really known that you could conquer stuttering like that. I think the most powerful thing that they did during the video was to have the before and after, to have the pre-treatment, the pre, the video of before and after of different ages, different genders, like you've all these people in all these different situations, and it still worked. And the improvement, not just with how they were speaking, but how they seemed, how much more relaxed, how much happier, how much more at ease. It was really truly incredible. And then you add in the interviews with the different doctors and, people in the medical field, which is all impressive too, but hearing from the actual people that have gone through the treatment, I thought was really incredible.
Very momentous and impactful documentary about speech impediments and stutters. What was the most insane to see was just how drastic of a shift it was, seeing all of the patients and their before and afters, seeing how they were starting these when they were starting in these introductions. You could see the pain and frustration as they were trying to speak. It felt like they were fighting with themselves. And then fast forwarding to their interviews now and seeing how fluid and natural it is, it definitely makes you realize just how much we take things like just speaking for granted, because things that we don't really think much about for others can be a trial every time they even attempt to do it.
First and foremost, let me say I think that the results here are nothing short of remarkable. If Delphine is really helping so many people with their stuttering, then hats off to them as an institution. They're doing a great job. I think it was also nice to have all those different results being shown to us to really drive home that it's not a one-off sort of thing. They did great work with the subjects here, so hats off to them. Really great job.